Welcome back. We are continuing our discussion of Google Sheets and Google Apps Script. And to illustrate the differences between Google Sheets and VBA in Excel, I'm going to redo one of the exercises that we did earlier in our series of videos in Excel, but we'll do the same thing in Google Sheets just as a form of comparison. So you may or may not remember if you've done this video. Basically, what we have here is a set of names in the first column. They are last name, comma, first name. And we wrote a couple of custom functions. I'm going to go to the code for a second. Actually, we wrote 3 functions. We have this function called first name. You give it a full name string, and it extracts the first name. And so again, the first name would be the part of this full name that's 2 characters after the comma. And so what we do is we use the instr string function in Visual Basic to find the location of the comma, and then we use the mid function to do the comma location +1 and or actually +1, and then we trim off any extra white space. And then we call this other function called title case, which is right up here. And the title case function extracts the first character on the left, converts it to uppercase, and then it appends onto that. It extracts on the right side. We're extracting everything from the second character to the end, converting that to lowercase, put those back together, and you have the original string in title case format. There's actually a native Visual Basic function that does that, but we're just doing our own function here. And then the last name function, the last name is everything to the left of the comma. And so in this case, again, we find the comma location and then go 1 to the left and get everything from there to the beginning. Trim that, convert it to title case, and away you go. And so now in this, as you can see, we apply the first name function in column B, and then we apply the last name function in column C, and then that just, whoops, went too far. Let me try that again. And then that extracts our first and last name. So let's see if we can recreate that in Google Apps Script. So I'm going to jump over to here. Now this is a Google Sheet, and what I did is I took that same Excel worksheet we were looking at a minute ago, and I uploaded it to my Google Drive. And then after uploading, you right-click on it, and you basically right-click on it and say Open with Google Sheets, and it will convert it to converts it to a Google Sheet format. So this is literally the same worksheet. Now, when you bring it in, you lose your Visual Basic code. It's not going to do you any good anyway. But your formatting, your formulas, pretty much everything else comes over intact. And so now what we're going to do is we are going to pop over to the script editor. And it has this, empty dummy function. And then I've got some notes here. I'm going to, first of all, copy over some code for title case, and then let's see, let's go over here and we have the other 2 functions here. Copy and paste those in, and clean that up a little bit so it's easier to read. I don't know why, for some reason it puts in spaces after everything. So all right, let's look first down here at the first name function. Var comma loc equals full name dot index of comma. So this is basically how you find the location of the comma. In Google Apps Script, if you take a string, and then every string object has a set of methods, and the methods are kind of like the string functions in Visual Basic. So index of is like the instr function in Visual Basic. So this gives us a comma location. And by the way, what is this var thing? Well, in Google Apps Script and in JavaScript, you can declare a variable and then use it in the same line. So the first time you introduce it, you put a var. After that, you just reference its name. Okay, so here we go. Var full name dot substring comma location +2. So this substring command here, it's identical to the MID function in Visual Basic. So it's going to get everything from there. Go to the comma location +2 and go from there over to the right. And it's slightly different than what we did in Excel, but it's basically doing the same thing. I was going comma location +1 and then trimming any white space. Here we're just going to jump to comma location +2. It does the same thing. And then finally, it's going to then pass that first name that we've formulated, and it's pass it to title case. Now if you go up to title case, it takes the name, and then it extracts the first character from 0 to 1, gives you the first character. It's indexed at 0, and then the rest is you do substring 1 and without a second index, and it gives you everything from character 1 over to the end. Again, the first character is 0, the second character is 1. And then we say first dot to uppercase plus rest dot to lowercase. So we're basically uppercasing the first character and concatenating that using the plus sign with the rest of the string converted to lowercase. And then the last name function, same thing, we find the comma location, and then we grab everything from the 0 over to the comma location. Now we don't need to do -1 because it's 0. The index starts at 0, so it actually just kind of works for us. And then we title case that, and away we go. So let's save that, and we need to create a project again, or name our project. Go back over here, and let's see, I called that first name, last name. Okay, so I'm going to say equals first name. It's case sensitive, by the way. And then there we go. And then equals last name. And grab that one. And then just like in Excel, I can drag those down. And first time they run, it takes a little time, and voila. We have essentially recreated the same thing. We've got our name extractor now in Google Sheets, and it works perfectly.